posting so we can go by a thing. Tonight is February 1st, 2021, Rockland Park Department meeting, starting at 6:34. Gary Graz is not going to make it tonight, so we won't have Gary to, he wanted to talk to us about this football and all the sports stuff coming up, rough ideas. So he won't be here, so we'll have to wait and try to get that at a later date. As far as all that goes, I got a start time and end time. I think we got 2 home games in April. They're looking for practice locations, which I would think is going to be probably Oval till we lose it, and then out back behind Memorial Park at this point. Till we hear from Gary, I don't think we'll be able to, give any definite answers. And I hope it warms up, because there's no way we can paint the field or any of that stuff right now. The concession stand, which I don't even know if they're gonna be able to use. Bathrooms, right now they're shut down because we don't have any heat in there to keep them going. So as it gets closer, we'll have to work out all those details and see what's going on. But again, he won't be here to talk about that. I sent you guys meetings for last month's meetings. I don't know if you had time to look them over, but if you do, I'd like to get a motion to accept the meetings minutes from last month. Steve, Joe, Stephen, Joe, you got to unmute.
Yeah, so Rich, what we're seeing is we're getting a message that the host will not allow us to unmute, so it's going to be a setting in yours.
Yeah, I did that. Allow occupants to unmute themselves. I already did all that. So you should be all set now. I mean, it's off on you now. It's off now. So anyone want to make a motion, accept the minutes?
I didn't see them.
I'll make that.
Well, I sent them back on the 12th of January. I sent them January 12th. So if you want to, I sent them along with the town report. I sent them out on a Sunday on the 12th.
I recall now.
So if you want to, all right, Steve.
Yep.
All those in favor? All right. Okay. With that was the town report, which has to be sent in on the 3rd. So I'm going to send that in tomorrow. If you guys haven't had time to look at that, let me know. And it's the standard thank you and what we've done stuff for the stadium and all that for the park department for the year. So,
Motion.
Motion to send that in. Steve, second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Nothing going on field permits other than I said with high school. Youth football wants to do something. I just don't know where we're going to put everybody, especially with the weather. I don't even know how they're going to practice if this weather keeps up. But we'll have to, as we get closer to their start date, we'll have to wait and see, what we can do. Pete, have you heard anything else?
I have not heard anything else.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, we'll just have to wait until we get it. But right now, everybody's in limbo because nobody's getting, they're getting registrations for all the youth organizations are going, registrations, and we're just waiting on the high school to find out, what they're going to have and where they want to have it. Like I said, the Oval till we lose it, right? I watched the school committee meeting the other night, the new building committee, and they got a start date of March 24th as far as construction starting. I guess they're right now they're picking a general contractor and all their sub bids. I happened to watch the last one, and that's what they're in the process of doing right now. They're supposed to have an answer by the 17th of this month, who the general contractor is, and then they're scheduled to start on the 24th of March. So we'll have to see.
Rich?
Nothing. Nothing. Haven't heard anything from anybody about anything yet. Nope. Because I know that's going to be an issue because there isn't much around there for staging, vacant lots or anything. So one meeting that we did go to about a year ago, when they were talking, they wanted to park the workers all over at Bicentennial over at the track, use that parking lot. And I kind of told them that, because of the walkers and the school, that would be, wouldn't be good for us, so we'll have to see. The other thing is the budget and town meeting articles. Peter got an email from Rich Harris from the Capital Planning Committee. I sent an email back to Rich. I've actually sent him 2 emails asking him, he wanted a Thursday. They meet on a Thursday. He wanted to put us on the agenda. I reached out to him, see if he wanted to meet this Thursday and what he needed from us. And 2 emails, and I haven't received any information back yet. So we're waiting on capital planning. Finance Committee sent Peter a list. They sent the list out for the whole town when to meet with finance. And right now they're looking at the 24th of February to meet with finance as far as the budget goes. And as far as articles, we'll just have to, wait and see what they say and, to get them put together. Community preservation, I threw that on there because I know Joe was had some stuff going with Reed's Pond. I don't know if you wanted to give an update on that.
Last Monday, we had the pond tested, and I'm waiting on the results. That's just a test on swimming, kayaking, canoeing, and fishing. They tested 2 spots in the pond. A thank you goes out to the fire department for bringing out the boat and did a little, what do you call it?
Couple skills.
Yeah, skill. So that's how we got the boat. So
Okay.
waiting on the results and haven't heard nothing as of now. Hopefully something. You want me to go into Hartsuv?
Yeah, we can go into Hartsuv. I know you had a meeting on that too, so you might as well go into that one. Yeah.
Hartsuv, the user plan for Hartsuv Park. We had that meeting, went over things with the company, and they came back with a bunch of good stuff. The one thing that the signage is a big thing down there, the entrance. The guy drove by it 3 times to go in there because he couldn't find it. So,
he couldn't see the big sign out front that said Hartsuv Park.
well, problem is it's facing the wrong way. It should be parallel and
should be
2
sideways.
sides.
Yeah, sideways instead of the way it is. Yeah.
So he went through a bunch of recommendations, and it's happening right now. There's a survey being sent out for the townspeople to take part in that for what they like to see and have down Hartsuv Park and stuff like that. I just filled mine out about 2 hours ago, so I'm not sure. I was hoping Jeanne was going to be on to tell us how to find that. Pete, do you know?
I do not. I don't think she was going to be on. That's all I know.
Yeah, she's supposed to be on because she's on the agenda. I texted her.
Yeah, she said she probably wouldn't. She probably wasn't going to make it.
Oh,
right now. So I did. She did talk to me. Well, you finish your thing, and I'll talk about the grants.
well, that's about it. Unless Pete wants to add to it.
No, they had just gone over Arthur there from the landscape architectural company there, just mentioned just a lot of pros and cons, but we'll have it all in hard copy tomorrow. They talked about pickleball being a big up and coming thing with elderly, and elderly wanting to get out more as far as hiking and things like that. But we'll know a lot more after we get the paperwork tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so that basically covers almost everything. Jeanne, as far as Jeanne and the talk about available grants, Jeanne has got some grants that we might be able to get on to, as far as getting some of these projects help paid for. Like she said, you usually don't get them around the first time around. It takes 2 or 3 submissions before you get them. I think the submission dates on them are like October. So now's the time to find out, what the grants are, what they're for, and, get them written up and get them submitted for October. And then that way, we'll be able to get the money somewhere down the line if we get the grant. But like she said, you got to keep trying and trying, keep submitting them. And October's kind of the deadline to get them in. I think September, October anyway. And we can do that. So I'll work with her to find out what the grants are and then how we can get them written up and go from there. So I'll talk to her about that.
Rich, can I go back to Hansa Park? I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
During that meeting, everyone was asking questions, and I asked a question about security trailer or security cameras, and they advised us to go with cameras. The price that Jeanne got a while ago, that was to hook up directly to the police station, and you can get it a lot cheaper, under 10 grand to cover the park. So for discussion purpose, because it's going to take a while to move that trailer out of there, we should probably start a discussion on that sooner than later.
Well, exactly. We can have a discussion, but I'll make a motion that Joe goes down and opens and closes the gate every day and night. Because, I don't like cameras. I do and I don't like cameras because the police aren't going to watch them 24 hours, 24/7. And as far as the gate, someone still has to put it up and take it down. And we won't, if we remove the trailer and him, there's no one to do the gate. So that's something to think of before we, and again, like, I think it's going to take a while anyway, because, getting the money to do it and where we're going to send it. Cause we don't have a line up there. He does, but, we don't have any internet up there to that building at all. There's nothing, there's actually not even a phone line to the bathhouse. So we'd have to get all that put in place. So, but definitely we can look at it, especially with his recommendations when they come down. Are these recommendations going to have a cost estimate with them?
Good question. I'm not sure. I imagine so.
Okay. Because I mean, if he's in the field, he might know as far as, what a cost estimate as far as doing all this stuff for future reference, So, all right. I was hoping Gary was going to be on here so, we could get that stuff straightened away, but that's, he's not available tonight. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up and backtrack on, or anything going on?
No, the biggest thing with me is we just don't know how we're going to make this work weather-wise. Honestly, I don't even see how the kids can practice on the field the way they even are right now. But that's their call.
Right. No, I understand. It's out of our hands. But the thing is we can't paint the fields. Even if there was no snow in the ground, there isn't a paint out there with this cold weather that would stick or dry. And the machine, we don't even know if the machine, you have a hard enough time with the machine in October, never mind January, February with this cold weather, So there's some obstacles that are definitely going to have to be, we're going to have to get over to get this done. So, and we're not the only town. I'm sure that all the other towns, if you have a turf field, that's great. If you'll be able to plow it and the lines are already there, no problem. But any natural grass fields, it's going to be tough on everybody, especially where we just spent the $3,000 to redo the infield. I'd hate to see it all torn up without even getting a chance to use it, in the good weather. So,
Pete.
Yeah.
How did we do the fields in the old days before paint came around? Lime?
Well, I know at one point, it was way before my time, they used to chalk them with a lime. Yeah.
Dean's coming in
But
now.
I know that's not good for it either. I mean, the paint, I did do some investigating. There is no miracle additive we can throw like antifreeze or anything else in there. I talked directly with Franklin Paint, a couple other towns. If it's above 32, it won't freeze. It's just we're going to have to keep walking the machine into a heated area after every 4 or 5 lines. We can't sit idle when we're putting the field down, when we're laying it out, that's all.
Do we still have equipment to put it down with line?
We do, but I don't think that's too good for the grass, really,
It'll
my
kill,
opinion.
it'll probably kill the grass.
It'll
You know?
pretty much, yeah, it'll stripe it a little bit, like
Yeah.
permanently.
So,
I mean, we'll try to get the paint down. That's about the only way it'll happen.
all right, Jeanne is in on the meeting. Jeanne, Joe just wants you to explain the grants that you said could be available for us, and what do we have to do to get them going?
You're on mute.
You might have to unmute her, Rich.
I already
No,
did.
I
Yes, you
got it.
you got
I'm
it.
back.
Okay.
So there's quite a few opportunities for grants for the parks in general. One is the park grant, PARC. It's generally put out in March. I actually contacted the woman responsible or in charge of the park grant. It's supposed to be out in March of 2021. The applications are all due by July. We would qualify for a small town project, and that's a quick snapshot into the criteria of Hartsuff Park. So the maximum amount of money that we could get out of that grant would be $100,000. Because of our population. Our population is only 18,000, and then the larger grants are if your population is 35 plus. So that's just that's without going through the entire application and looking at all of the criteria. So that's a possibility. And I believe the park grant, I didn't find out if it was a matching grant, but I can. It's just about 30 pages long. So so that was one of the ones that I looked at. Another one was, it's called the Land Grant, Local Acquisitions for Natural Diversity. This one also opens or is posted in March. So it's used for forest, fields, wetlands, wildlife habitat, unique natural, cultural, historical resources, some farmland. This one actually has a rating system. So when you apply for, it's also used for vacant lots in community, to turn them into community gardens, water spray parks and shade, like shade pergolas, stuff like that. So anyways, this grant, like I said, open in March. I don't know where the rest of my info goes, but that is a matching grant. There's another grant that's land water conservation, opens in November, and then the deadline, we just missed it. It was today. So the minimum matching grant is up to 50,000. The maximum I believe we could get would be 750,000. So their goal is acquisition and development of public outdoor park developments, whether it's existing trails, conservation, or recreation area. So that was that one. And then the last one that I know about and I looked up was Mass Trails. Again, was due today. What's that one? $5,000 up to $100,000 matching grant, and the town needs to fund approximately 20% of the project. These are just some notes that I wrote down. And then it's maintenance or construction, maintenance of old trails or construction of new trails within a park. So that's just a few of them that I kind of identified, or I have identified over the past couple of years. And that's without reading, and I'm telling you, pages of information in order to figure out what we actually qualify for or what you qualify for.
Okay, so my question would be, can community preservation money be used to match? I'm just thinking funding sources, that's all.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I think with all of these grants, it seems as though you have to have all of your ducks in the row, like you're ready to rip the Band-Aid and start construction if that's what you're gonna do, or, you know, there's actually a tree grant too, I found, interestingly enough. Fruit and Tree Planting Foundation grant. And that's on the National Recreation and Park Association website. There's also grants for tennis courts, things of that nature. So, I mean, we can really get into it and dive deep, but yeah, I would say CPA money is definitely a good match. I think
Well,
that's what it's there for, you know?
right. I'm just thinking that, you know, with the finances of the town and stuff, that might be where we have to go to get the money. That's all. That's
Yep.
all.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, before we go into any of these or look at any of the grants, it's really taking a deep dive into the applications of what we need. I know that most of these you have to have an open space plan, and we have that. So I don't see why there's not a couple that we can't go after.
Okay. But they start in March, so we're gonna have to start looking at now as far as what's going on. Go ahead, Steve. You gotta unmute.
Get on mute.
You have to unmute him, Tom. Rich.
No, I don't have.
I'm just trying to stay on, I'm trying to stay on mute, cut down the background noise, but you have to undo us if for some reason. We'll fix that. The question would be on the CPA. Do they give any prioritization of people that with matching grants?
Good question. I'm not positive. I assume so. It makes sense anyways.
Yeah.
I can ask that question next meeting.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you could always apply for a CPA money with, because a lot of these don't match up with the timeline that CPA needs their applications. So you apply with the hope that you're going to get matching grants from one of these grant opportunities.
Well, yeah, because doesn't CPA you guys have the deadline of October to get the requests in, correct? So
Yeah, you have a whole year to get it written up and submit it.
So now these grants start in March, and you have to have them in by July. And I'm sure you might hear about them by September, October, whether you got them. So I don't know if the grant will. I mean, the grant's usually good for a year once you get it. So if we were to get the grant, say in September, October, say we needed matching funds, and we got the okay in May, we just have to start right away to get the work done to use the money. That's all.
Yeah.
So
And you have to. It's a reimburse. Most of them are reimbursable too. So we have to put the money up and then get reimbursed for
right
that amount.
Okay, but at least that gives us time to get it. And if we get the money at town meeting, then we can just start it right away, or hopefully by July, and the grant will still be alive, because hopefully we didn't get it till September, October, so we'll have July, August, and September to get the job done. So, all right, that's something we'll have to do. We'll have to look at the grants, and like Jeanne said, sometimes you don't get it on the first round anyway. The first try, you submit your paperwork, they'll tell you what you did wrong, and you go back and fix it and come back for the next year. But at least to start to get some extra cash,
And
Once
sometimes once you submit the grant too, sometimes they'll give you that information right away, like something's not complete or whatever. They can't accept your application because something's not complete or there's missing information. And in all of these, they have a summary. And within that summary, it tells you exactly what you need and what they would prefer. And with some of the rating scales tell you, if it applies to a diverse group of people, then that scores higher than if it was just for a youth program.
right? Okay, I get you. Yep.
2 or 3 of these grants that she just mentioned would fit in with the Real Trail Hearts of Park and Reed's Pond, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially the trail stuff.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
$750,000 one. That sounds like it'd be perfect for Reed's Pond.
Yeah. So
I would the only thing I would say is that a lot of these conservation can go open space can go after them and conservation too. So I would just talk to those committees and make sure they're not going after any of the grants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that.
If we do it jointly, it might help us with the application, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
Could, yeah. Put their name on it, have them come on with us, you know? So, okay, sounds good.
Thanks,
Any-
Jeanne. Good,
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Jeanne?
I'm good.
Okay,
All right, awesome.
thanks, Jeanne.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, Jim.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Nope.
No, it's 7 o'clock, so that wasn't a bad meeting. I don't know if Gary did want to speak to us. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to want to try to do something else between now and the start. So if he does, maybe we might just have another special one just to hook up with Gary and you know, everybody can hear what he's looking for and what he needs to get done. So if that comes, I'll let everybody know. All right, so if that's it, nobody else has anything else, we can make a motion and we can adjourn. Go ahead, Joe.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Where are we at with the room in the garage, Pete? Any update?
I don't know. I've repeatedly called up, Mike, and he's been reaching out to the electrical company there that's supposed to do it pro bono, and at least once a week I've been asking him. We're nowhere there as far as the plumbing goes. I got one price. It's up there. It's around 10 grand or just under 10 grand. I don't know where we can take it from. I can't take it out of maintenance. We've got around 16 in maintenance, and I've got around 12, I think, in truck equipment and tractor equipment. I really can't. I mean, I can't take it out of those line items. So I don't know what we should do. If we should go to finance or.
Well, I don't think we're gonna get anything out of finance. I mean, money's tight now, so we might just
Well,
have
I know.
to, I know, we might just have to keep waiting and see what the end of the year, if we get money left over at the end of the year, then maybe we can reallocate it to that, you know? But, you know, being with 4 or 5 months left in the fiscal year, we might have to, just like I said, wait until see what the numbers look like at the end and then try to squeeze it in, you know?
Is that what
Well,
you're Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna go talk to somebody tomorrow and see if there's something somewhere, because we can't wait until the next budget.
Rich, can I ask
Yeah.
a question on how does it work with the part-time help?
What do you mean?
If we don't use that money, can that be used, switched into another account to be able to use it?
We would have to check with the town hall, with the accountant, but normally in the past, we've been able to move money out of one account into another account, just as long as we stay within our budget, you know what I mean?
Is that
So-
what you're kind of thinking of?
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
think that's the same as far as payroll line items, though.
well,
I
that's
think
why I
only
said,
schools are allowed to do that.
so, well, that's what we have to find, that's a question we can find out. If we
I'll
don't
find
use,
out tomorrow.
if we don't use that money, then, you know, what, you know, if we can reallocate it, you know? So we'll look at that, and we'll look at that through the town and let you know. All right? All right, it is now 7:03. If nobody has any objections, we'll end the meeting. Anybody want motion by Steve, second by Joe? All those in favor, aye. All right, everybody, have a good night and thank you.